Hey everybody, I wanted to do an unboxing video because I have a lot of new cool things that have come in for January subscriptions and I wanted to film them before they went back out. So, that's usually how things go around here. They come in the mail and it stacks up for a few days and then it all goes back out in the mail. But I'm not complaining because that's at least a sign, I feel like that's a sign of a healthy business if stuff's not sitting around. So let me show you some of the fun stuff I've got. Okay, the first thing that I have that I want to unbox or unbag, and I've already gotten into it here, is this yarn from this is kind of a collaboration I'd been wanting to do for a while, and it is sort of extra special for the first cottage industry yarn subscriptions that are going out. We always have new people kind of sign up for, I feel like for gifts for Christmas, so I wanted to send everybody something special. And this is definitely something special. So this is, like I said, from one of my friends over at Drezzo Family Farm. And if you follow me on Instagram, you probably recognize that she is the most faithful tagger of the Fleece Friday. So I feel like every Friday I am reposting their beautiful pictures on Instagram of their sheep. So I feel like I know all of their sheep at this point in time. And that was one thing I really thought was fun on these tags. Like, so this is an extra special thing is, well, here, let me start at the top. But it's from Drezzo Family Farm. And this is a Cormo and Cormo CVM wool. So it is a sort of a breed on breed mix. And this is a really fun marbled, you can see marbled, it's a sport weight yarn. And each one is approximately 200 yards and it is so soft. And that's one thing I really like about, let's say, minimally processed, both wool rovings as well as yarns, is they kind of don't have that scratchy, like I've been scoured to death feeling. They always kind of feel like they have a little bit of the lanolin and the softness that I personally feel like you mainly get from small farm yarns. And so not only do you get the joy of supporting small farms and local industry, but you also are, I feel like it's a better quality yarn. So these are, of course, are natural colors, and I love that it says down here compliments of Fleur, Daphne, and Della. So the three sheep who were involved in this yarn have their names credited on the yarn, so I thought that was super fun. And like I said, they're a beautiful kind of, I don't know what shade of brown I would say, kind of almost like a hazelnut brown with the natural cream in there, and it is marbled and beautiful. And it says sport weight, but honestly, it might just be because it's kind of springy. I feel like it's maybe a little, it's a thicker sport weight, but then I'm terrible at that sort of thing. So I'm going to go by what it says. It says sport weight, but I personally feel like you could knit or crochet any pattern between kind of DK and sport weight, depending on how tight or loose you knit, and be happy with these. And like I said, it's a very interesting breed combination of Cormo and Corvo CVM wool. So you can go to Drezzo Family Farm. There we go. I was trying to get it where you can see it. There's their website, the name of the farm. They have a great, like I said, Instagram page, and you can check out their website and learn a lot more about that particular breed of sheep. But it is super soft and super squishy. So that is the first thing I wanted to unbox before I have to get those in the mail going out to people. The next box I had, this has all been collecting in my studio, so I wanted to unbox it all for you here, was from Twice Yeared Sheep, which, as you can imagine, I get a lot of stuff from Twice Yeared Sheep because I, one, love Dawn, and two, I use a lot of their tools for my kits because, if it's not broke, why fix it? And I've never gotten anything from Twice Yeared Sheep that I've ever been anything less than thrilled with, and of course their customer service is great, and I get to support a brand. So what I have in here, first and foremost, for the new thing, there's this kind of extra large clip style, I'm sorry, the light's making it funny, the kind of clip style. So it's got a big clip and it's a stitch marker. And I like these because unlike the smaller ones that you would put on, like if you were knitting socks or hat, This one you could put on to like mark your spot, like if you had a special stitch or something you needed to remember, and then you could also easily unclip it and move it or take it off completely at any given time. So that should be going out with this first batch of in the cottage industry subscription I was talking about. So you'll get 2 of the Drezzo family farms. And of course, like I said, this depends. So our supplies, especially with that subscription, since it is all small business based, of course, if, somebody runs out of a certain color or a certain type, things do get supplemented in. But as of right now, the kit is 2 of these small farm yarns and 1 of these extra large stitch markers, as well as the pattern suggestions. Pattern suggestions, not actual patterns, even though most of the suggestions I try to make sure are free. So it's not like you'd have to pay for them anyway. But it's a slip of paper with, it's usually 3 knitting, 3 crochet, but it could be, 2 one way and 3 another, depending on what I find, where the amount of yarn and the type of yarn you have is the appropriate thing for that project. So that is the current going out cottage industry yarn subscription for that one. So that came out of that box. I also had to reorder some more. I just love these with the little turquoise bead. The row counters, these are part of a knit kit that I have on my site. So this is just literally restocking, but it's fun to restock too. So I've got those. I've also got this one with the tree, and this one goes with the, the tree stitch row counter. What am I looking for? Is in a kit with the same bamboo cable needles. So these 2 come together with one of the Galler Wow, and it's the cable, really pretty cable kit. So you can find that, but these were the accessories. So like I said, I'm restocking. We sold out for a good many things around the holidays, so these little guys are for that. These blue bead ones go with, you'll recognize the moth, the night moth. I just loved the blue. I thought all the colors really went good together. And I have a very limited stock of these left too, which were for the another one of the knit kits that is the natural yarn is with the bag. And then this, so like this, all the twice sheared sheep stuff was things that were restocking for those kits, with the exception of the new one. And then these little guys, I don't know if you've seen or not. You can kind of see in the bag. I don't want to take it out. It's a peacock, and it is it's a ring, but it's adjustable, obviously. So it'll fit anybody, but you wrap your yarn around in it. So as you're knitting or crocheting, and Heidi tells me it's particularly useful if you're crocheting. I'm just going to take her word for it since I am not a huge crocheter, but to be able to keep the tension on your yarn, to keep the tension right. So not only is it cute and it's adjustable, but it will help you with your tension while you are working. So that goes the new Alpine Nymph crochet kit that we have. So I had to restock some of those. So that is the big restock / new items from the twice sheared sheep box. Last but certainly not least, I have some really pretty natural roving from my friend Teresa Bentz. And here, let me, so you can kind of see I've already opened it, of course. This was the other thing that was laying around for me to show everybody before it gets divided up and goes out. Look at this pretty mixed roving. And so this is for my spinners, obviously not my knitters or crocheters, unless you're spinning it to the knit and crochet, which I would highly recommend. But I'll pull off a little piece. This is roving. And I do sell a lot of bats, but I also really, sometimes I like just being able to sell the natural roving. And you can see a natural, like, boutique milled roving. You are going to have, you can see a little bit of the VM, but I mean, it came off a sheep and it was hand processed, so it's definitely still got a lot of the softness, and it hasn't been chemically treated and stripped. And this is a combination of border Leicester, alpaca, and merino. And so it's fun because while it is all uniform in color, it does have different textures in there, and you can see just how easy that pulls apart. And this would be an app, it looks like a cloud. This would be so much fun to spin. And here, I'll pull a little bit off so I can draft. It's always fun if you are a spinner, you can kind of pull off little samples. And this you could either, I think would be fun, spun as like a loose, fluffy woolen style, like you could do a thicker one, or because it's got these longer fibers in it from the border Leicester, you could definitely spin this down as thin as you could possibly want it on there and make just absolutely beautiful lace weight yarn, which is what I think I would do. I would spin this very thin and then maybe chain ply it if you wanted some extra texture. Because like I said, the fun thing with this is it is all one color, but unlike what you would get, mass produced somewhere in a big batch, this is from actually 3 different types of animals. So you've got alpaca, which is very soft and hypoallergenic, the border Leicester, which is going to give it the longer fibers, and then merino, which everybody loves. It's so soft. So merino is what everybody thinks about. So this is my big cloud of natural roving, and I may make some bats out of it, but honestly, it's already blended up so beautiful. I will probably leave this as the small farm boutique roving, and this will also be going out as subscriptions in the mail. And I do not anticipate having any left over, so there may possibly be a couple little 1-ounce bundles left over at the end of the month, but and those would just go for sale in the leftover wool section on my site. But if you were really wanting to get your hands on some of this, it would need to be in either the natural wool, it's usually bats, but in this case it would be roving, the blended natural wool subscription, or the Fiber Artist Design Bundle. You get kind of 3 different things: the braid, some natural colored stuff, and then the fancy colored stuff. So this would be featured in either of those if you would like to get some of yourself. But that was my last but not least unboxing for this month.